All right, so here we go. Got us a little pot here with some boiling water, and I just added some pasta to it. Now, this is going to be a super fun one and a pretty quick one. That's just boiling water. I put a little salt, a little bit of oil in it. You'll notice I'm in my summer clothes. Kind of doing this summer series where everything's sort of quick and easy, and you've come in from working outside and you're ready to just get something on the table and all that. So this is going to be a fun one here. We got a little pancetta. I've got about a half an onion and about a half of a sweet pepper. Most times we're going to have a red or a yellow or orange. Very seldom do we have a green pepper, but if you had one, it would work. This is just some pancetta here. I'm just going to kind of roast this up for a minute. And if you only had bacon, if you had, I don't know, I can't think what the other thing I'm thinking of is. Bacon. What's the really thin sliced one? It escaped me. Anyway, so I got some pancetta. It's going in a hot skillet. Then I put the onions and the pepper in. And I'm just going to kind of let those saute there for a minute. Again, we had our pasta in our water. Give that a little stir. Pasta tends to kind of want to stick if you don't stir it. Stir that with a knife, by the way. So what I have here is some big shrimp. These were frozen. You could probably do this straight from frozen if you wanted. Wouldn't hurt anything. I'm just going to cut these in half. They'd be a little bit big if I left them as is, just for bite's sake. It is pouring down rain outside. And I mean pouring down rain. So luckily we're in here making us a big old summertime supper. I'm just going to cut these in half. And I'm cutting these lengthways, not widthways, as you can see. Then what I've got for other ingredients is I got some butter. I have some Boursin cheese. This is just a piece of one that we had left over. I like Boursin because it really melts in good and becomes smooth. You could use cream cheese if that's all you had. I've got a little bit of garlic. I have some chicken stock. I've got some cream. I've got a little bit of Parmesan. And I got some mozzarella. I got the Mondo mozzarella. I'll go ahead and add some of this garlic. See, I'm doing this thing where, remember when you were a kid and your dad had a screwdriver and he used it for everything? He was like hammering with it, screwdriving, poking holes in stuff, everything. That's what I'm doing with the knife. We have other things. Don't feel like you need to donate to our cause, but for right now, just because, I'm just using the knife, and now I'm done with it. So, I've got my pasta going. I've got the peppers and the onions going. I am going to add a little red pepper flake to this, because I like a little spice to it. And I am going to add a little smoked paprika, because I like the color, and I like the flavor. A little black pepper. Now, here's my tip on this. If you're going to use chicken stock that you didn't make sure you go light on the salt in the beginning, because all of the chicken stocks that you're going to run into are salty as heck. That's a 50% reduced sodium, and it's still salty as heck. So if I go add and salt now, and then I throw in this Boursin which had some salt, and then I throw in the stock which has some salt, pretty soon everything's over salted. So I'm going to bring you over here in just a minute, but right now there's really nothing to see. I got my spices, onions, God dang it, slinging them all over everything. That's when you know you're cooking. Oh well, I'll find it in a little bit. So, got that cooking down. Move this stock out of the way because I'm going to bring you over here and show you this. Whew, thunder! So I'm going to bring you over here and show you what I got going on here. Look down there. That looks mighty fine. Now, all I want to do is get this to where I'm basically ready to add the cheese and the shrimp. And the cheese and the shrimp will take about the same amount of time. So again, I have not added any salt to this yet. I'm going to come back here with my shrimp. That was about 3/4 of a pound. I didn't use the whole pound, so that's about 3/4. I'm just going to toss those in there. Now, if you've ever eaten at our house, if you've ever watched our videos, you've watched me sling stuff on the floor, like what I did just now. And you know that we don't cook our shrimp for more than about a minute, because that's all they need. You can see they're they're already taking on color. So I got this Boursin cheese. And again, if what you have is cream cheese or something like that, that works fine too. Any soft cheese, brie would even work, I'm sure. So I want to put that in there, let that kind of start melting down. Then I've got my tomato paste. If you've got the one in the can, that's fine. I usually like to keep this little tube around because I can reuse it and then just put it in the fridge anytime we're not using it. We've always got some around. So I've got that. I got my shrimp. Just kind of mixing this a little bit. Hear that old thunder rolling. That already looks good right there. I'm going to add a little of my stock. Then, now, according to how many kids you've got is how much stock you need to add to this. If you've got a hell of a bunch of kids and you're trying to feed a giant family, well, then you're going to need more stock. I don't have, and this is going to be basically for just a couple of people. So all I need to do is add a little. That I added there about 3/4 of a cup because I had about 1.5 cups total. So I'm going to kind of swirl this around, get that cheese melted. I used some chicken bouillon in that. It didn't get broken down. I'm going to add it all because I'm going to let this cook down for just a minute. So I'll cook some of this liquid out of it. So there you see what we've got. This burner is on about medium heat. Basically, it's almost done now. If you were really, really, really short on patience, you could do it right now and it'd be fine. Now what I've got is my pasta here. So, stop that thing from rattling. So get this back up to a boil. And I'm going to cook off a little bit of this liquid. And if I need to, I can always thicken this with a little cornstarch. So now my shrimp are done. I probably shouldn't have added so much liquid, but let me get a spoon to try that. Let me give this a little shot. This is where I'm checking for my salt. Oh, God, that's good. Oh, that is ridiculous. Really, the salt's fine right where it's at. So, make sure my pasta's not sticking here. Now, if I needed to, I could also add a little of that pasta water. I don't really need to, but I could if I did. So again, that was pancetta, onions, peppers, garlic, a little tomato paste, some spices, and then I put in the shrimp and the Boursin cheese. So you can see that's coming back to a nice little simmer there. I have a little bit of cream. This will be 1/4 cup. This is just going to cream it up a little bit more. I just like it to be extra creamy. Found that piece of that onion. And I've got a little butter, because I like a little butter to kind of finish this up. Tablespoon, give or take. So now I just kind of incorporate this all together. Again, if I need to add a little of that pasta water, if this was too thin, I could. Or I could add a little more cream if I needed to. I do think I am going to thicken this just a little. So what I need to do is I need to make a little cornstarch slurry. So I just take my bowl where I had my chicken stock in. I hit this with a little cornstarch. I've got about a tablespoon of water in there. Now I got about a tablespoon of cornstarch. So I mix up this little slurry here. Now to do this and do this right, you need to break up all the lumps. You got to let that come back to a nice boil too. because you don't know how thick this is ever going to get until you add to it. Now I will add a little of that pasta water, a few teaspoons. That starchy water kind of helps thicken it up a little too. But I'm not going to give it that much time because I want to eat. Get my butter melted down here. Scrape these sides down. And add this cornstarch in here. Doesn't have to be super thick. I'm not trying to get this super thick, which is what I may have done. But I've got my pasta water handy, so if this does get too thick, all I gotta do is add a little of the pasta water to it. Gotta turn my burner down here. So there we go. Boy, oh god dang. Just got it everywhere. So what I want to do is, that's almost perfect. You see the texture of that. Look how silky smooth that is. So I need to drain my pasta. And as soon as I find something to drain that, I'm going to do the old school, drain it with the lid. I know this pasta's done because I know how long it's been cooking. So drain my pasta. There's going to be a little inherent water in this pasta too, so that's going to thin that up. So if you're worried, if you're the worrying type, and you're worried, don't worry. That's some penne. I just throw that in there like so. Now just want to incorporate all this. And again, if it was too thick, I could just added some of that pasta water ahead of time. And there you go. That is a spicy shrimp and boursin penne pasta. And then I'll add a little bit of that Parmesan over the top of it. And a little of that mozzarella just to make it super cheesy. Turn my stove off, and there you have it. That is a beautiful, wonderful summer dish in 12 and a half minutes.